Hi there. Quite often I get asked the question, what is the best procedure for using the purchasing module in Trackit 20XX and then doing a discovery in the network to capture that PC and then tying them together in the asset management module. So there is a routine to do this, and this is the best procedure to follow. Otherwise, if you do it a different way, let's say if you do the discovery first, you're going to put assets into your asset management, and then if you go into the purchasing and then you're going to create the purchase, then you would probably not be able to track the items. So the most automated or the smoothest way is as follows. Now, what I'm going to do here, I'm in Trackit. You can see at the moment I've only got one workstation in my asset management view. So first of all, I'm going to go to the purchasing module, and from here I'm going to create a new purchase order. Now I don't have to be in the purchase module to do that. I can just simply click on add new and go from there. So first of all, let's have a purchase order number and let's order it for today. And really the only other mandatory field here is the requester name, so we'll just put it in for Joe user. Click on OK. Okay, so now we've got our purchase order. We just need to tie a few things to it. So obviously there's more information that you can pack out for your purchase, and that's just naturally you most likely will. But at the bottom here, this is the purchase items associated with this PO. So do a quick search, and I'm going to order a Dell laptop. We can give it a part number if we want. We'll just order the one here, and let's make it taxable and click on save. So as you can see, I've got my purchase order, I've got my item set against it, and then I'm going to receive that item from Dell, and by clicking receive, this is where I just confirm receiving that particular item. Now you can do things individually, you can do things in bulk. So if you wanted to buy a batch of 20 laptops and you only receive 10, you could do it in batches, so not necessarily have to wait for everything to come in. Obviously I've only got the one here. Now the key thing here is the create assets. Now if this is unchecked, it's going to record that purchase, but it's not going to create an asset. Now if you've already put the stuff in the inventory or the asset management, sorry, I'm going old school there with inventory, so your inventory module is now called the asset management module for you existing Trackit customers over the years. Now if you've already done the discovery and brought the stuff over and then you try to tie the purchase order, that's not going to work. So essentially you'd have to uncheck that and then fill in the details manually. But being we want to capture that information, we simply click on create assets, go on to receive, and that's been updated. So now we've received the status. That's closed out that purchase order. If we jump into the asset management module, as you can see, I've still only got the one workstation. Let's do a quick search. This is probably the quickest way to find this device. 6 assets found, and we will click on asset 164. So the key thing here, this is the assets that's been brought over from the purchasing module. So as you can see, the financial summary, there's the information that's been captured. We can fill in some more information from here should we wish to do so. But key here is to ensure that we update the asset name. So what we're doing is when we do a discovery in the network, it's going to capture the name of that PC or laptop in this example, and then it's going to look for a unique identifier in order to tie it to that existing asset within the asset management module, and it uses the asset name for that. So I'm going to give the name TN client 1 and click on save. So we can see at that point all we have here is the information captured from the purchasing. At this point I'm going to jump into configuration. So I'll select that from the hamburger menu, go to the asset management section, and let's run a network discovery. So when I click on scan now, that's going to perform a scan. At this point, I'm going to pause just to allow that to take place, and then I will catch up with you in a moment. Okay, we're back. So I've been able to watch that scan take place within the BCM console. You can see there's my scheduled one that runs every day. Just cross-reference it here. So that's this one. And then I have, as I said, when I scan immediately, that's the one it runs here. And I can see now the status is executed. Obviously, if I wanted to run the discovery again, I'd simply click that and I could see the various stages it goes through in order to run that discovery. And now, so I can see that it's picked up the clients. And at this point, if I expand the inventory, we'll see it's done a hardware audit. No software has been captured at this stage, so there's all the hardware information about that device, etc., etc. Then if we go back into track it and we search for that device, which was TN client 1, and we go into that record, we'll see at this point nothing has changed here. It's still just got the financial information. It's still client management type of other, and the reason for that is because it hasn't had the opportunity to synchronize with the client management database. Now this part's done in asset synchronization. So if I'm going to run asset synchronization, we can obviously set it to run on a scheduled basis. But if I'm going to force it now, so we'll do a manual sync, that's going to pull information in from my client management database, i.e. all of this information here, and it's going to bring it into the Trackit database. So when that concludes, there we see it's completed, updated assets. So no assets have been found, and it's only updated assets. And of course, that's the reason, because it already exists in our inventory. So if I click on that now, we can see this information has now changed. So it's assigned it as a workstation, and we've got some high level stuff. Again, if I just jump out of this and we go into asset management, if you recall, I've got a view set up so I can see all of my client management types, and originally I just only had the one workstation, TN client 2. I've got TN client 1, and I can see, as I say, the high level information about this particular asset. I can go into the asset details, and at this point I can see all the hardware stuff. Nothing for software, nothing for the nothing for the security, and obviously the financial information here. So the next step here is to get the agent out onto that machine, and we can see that at the moment, because from this identification details we can see it's not connected to the topology. And what that means is when we go into the client management console, we can see it's been discovered, but in this topology here, okay, it's actually pulled it into there now, but no, I take that back, that was from a previous one. So we can see it's not been put into the topology. And there's a couple of ways you can roll out the agent. You can simply do that manually through the console. So I suppose in audit now we'll push out that to the machine. If I go into the hamburger menu here and click on configuration, back into asset management, here's the agent configuration. So we have to put in some agent credentials. So obviously someone that's got permissions to roll out an agent to that machine, and we can automatically install that on discovered assets. So we can see that's actually taking place there now. The other option that we've got is we can go onto the machine manually and we can install a package that way. Okay, just to speed things up here, I just wanted to show you how you can also manually roll out that agent. So naturally, as I say, it can be pushed out from within Trackit or BCM. But if you then create a rollout server and then you assign packages to that rollout server, and it doesn't have to be the Trackit server, it could be another machine, it could be an endpoint, but you would simply then browse to https://server name 1611/rollouts, and then when you go into that page you might have a list of rollouts or whatever you've set up. So I've got an install one, I've got an uninstall one. So what I'm going to do is I'll just run the install here. And essentially what I've done here is I've manually pushed the client out onto that machine. So you can see the rollout is pushing some files onto that machine. Now this agent will allow us to do audit on demand. It will allow us, if we've got the licenses to do so, remote control, but also if there's any additional modules such as the patch management, you can obviously patch the machine, and not just only Microsoft but also non-Microsoft patches as well. So you know, Adobe I suppose is a good one there, and deployment, so operating system deployments, you can do package deployments, so all of that good stuff from a single agent. So going back onto the server now, we can see in the device topology the machine is there. Now let's do a quick refresh in this section, and there we are, there's the machine. No software data there yet. Let's just do a quick audit now. So I can actually do that in the console, but again I can also do it within Trackit, and either way all it's simply doing is from Trackit, when we do an audit now from here, it's going to send out a call in order to run that audit and then bring that information back into Trackit. So now that audit has taken place and we can see the agents on the machine, quick refresh and that should move it out of the discovered devices. So still waiting for that audit to take place. As you can see, there's the request there. If we go into the security, we can see there's some information there which we didn't previously have. So we've got some, as well as the hardware which we initially had, we've got some security stuff to complement it. Still waiting for the software. Look at the status. You can see there's the last update. While we jump back into the Trackit module, see the updates in there at the moment. So there's the hardware. Oh, there we are. There's the software that's came in as we speak. We've got our security software enabled there, the firewall, and we've got the financial information. And if there was any relationships between assets, they would be linked and shown there. Now I should be able to refresh this, and if we look at the unconnected, it should now be updated. Or let's go back out of the record and back in. It's probably the easiest way to do it. There we are. So now the ID has been updated as well, and we can see the audit date, and we can see it's a client in the topology. Software has been updated, and that is the process in order to create an asset in your asset management module, should you be using the auditing, the discovery, and of course the purchase order module. So just to recap, first of all, you create the purchase order, you create the purchase order. Once you receive it, you ensure that you create an asset. When you create the asset, be sure to give it the asset name of whatever that device will be. And then when you do the discovery, it's going to match that as the unique identifier. At the discovery point, it's only going to do a hardware audit, but then if you want to capture software and security information, it's at that point it needs to deploy the agent onto that machine. And then when it deploys the agent onto that machine, it will then pull in the software and the security information. As well, it will allow you to do things like audit now. So that's doing an audit on demand. It takes several minutes, as you can see. And you can also do things like remote control, again, should you have the license to do so. So I've clicked on there. That goes into the remote control. And then I've got the ability then to remote control the end user device. I've also got the option to do that within the client management console. So again, it'd be simply a case of going to remote control there. I can click on there, click on remote control and do the connection. What the console does here at the moment, which track it doesn't do, but I'm imagining it will do at a later date, is it allows you to do some direct access as well. So if you don't really control it from the front end, you can click on direct access and you can get into the file system there. So we can see the drive space. We can go to the registry. We can access the services, restart services, look at the processes and the event logs. So that's all of the great stuff that you can do with the agent. I hope this has been a useful tutorial for you, and catch you on the next one. Thank you for watching.